In today's education news, we're going to be talking about teaching assistants and how recruitment is a struggle for 3 in 4 heads. There's a real struggle to recruit teaching assistants, with secondary schools and special school leaders anticipating needing more TAs to cope with the rising SEND demand. I wonder if you can work out the reason for this happening. 3, 2, 1, all together now. Yeah, pay is the key reasons why some TAs are considering leaving the role. There's also a lack of opportunity for progression, which is a bugbear for around half of TAs in this report. 75% of leaders surveyed found it fairly or extremely difficult to recruit TAs. This was higher in secondary schools. I've talked on numerous occasions how TAs' pay needs to be increased, and that is the reason why it's driving so many TAs away. Those interviewed in this report emphasised that they remain in the job despite their pay and cite the satisfaction they achieve through making direct impacts on pupils' lives. Several leaders stated that they lose TAs to a range of other less challenging roles that offer higher salaries. And I've talked about that before, how there are so many other jobs that aren't anywhere near. I'm not going to name those jobs because I don't want people in the comments giving me grief. But if you consider the impact, how important the job of a TA is, the fact there are so many other jobs that you can do that where you're earning more is clearly going to be a reason why we're not bringing more people in to the profession. It also mentions here how not paying TAs for the wider responsibilities that they're expected to now do in a lot of schools is also affecting retention. How I've often said as a teacher, and it's the same for TAs, that it seems within education at the minute that your dedication, your goodwill can get weaponized against you to do more with less. Because, we're all in it for the kids. I know the vast majority of teaching staff always go above and beyond, but I can also understand how frustrating that is to be expected to do more and more and more without that then being reflected in your pay. The findings indicate roles and responsibilities of TAs have increased significantly in recent years. TAs now perform tasks outside what might be thought as traditional activities, such as maintaining classroom space, preparing resources, but frequently includes whole class one-to-one small group support delivered both inside and outside the classroom to pupils with identified needs. Asked about these sort of tasks, 70% said they worked on classroom tasks like general teaching and learning support most of the time, 70%. They also said providing one-to-one targeted support for children with SEND, about 56%. 50% cited delivering interventions for pupils with additional needs, while 36% said they worked on admin tasks most of the time. Like with so many of the issues facing us in education, whether it's teacher retention, whether it's workload, whether it's TA recruitment, it all comes down to budget and the lack of school funding being a reason why TAs aren't paid more. That budget and lack of funding, I fear, will lead to even fewer TAs in our schools, and that will have such a devastating impact in so many ways. One, the children, especially those children with SEND needs. The job TAs do in helping those children progress is just nothing short of incredible. And I know so many children have such a better relationship and connection with TAs than they do the class teacher in a lot of cases. And to read this, a third of primary leaders are expecting TA numbers to fall. 97% of those predicting a drop blame to financial pressures. Pupil numbers are falling in primary nationally, but only 12% cited this as a reason they were planning to reduce numbers of TAs. And it's not just students. This is going to have a massive impact on teachers as well. Our jobs are going to get so much harder. And I know some teachers are already struggling when their schools have made cuts to support staff and there's not as many TAs in schools. A good TA is worth their weight in gold. I would not be where I am now had it not been for the incredible TAs I've had the pleasure of working with. So I know how important they are, not just for the children, but for me as a teacher as well. And that's just going to lead potentially to our workload going through the roof and even a bigger retention crisis within teaching. To read an article like this, it is really disheartening and worrying, but it's not surprising. We know pay for TAs has been a massive issue for a number of years. They need paying to reflect the incredible job they do, especially when they're taking on so many more roles and responsibilities within the remit of their job. And it is no surprise reading this that so many TAs are leaving the profession to go and do jobs that are better paid, even though that's probably reluctantly because they love doing the job and they know they make such a huge impact. But ultimately, in the current climate, the cost of living we're going through, on the current wage, which isn't reflective of the incredible job they do, being a teaching assistant is untenable for so many. We all know what needs to happen. We need more investment. We need more funding in schools.